Mirror now, remember, has been constantly highlighting the severe water crisis in Tamil Nadu, and the state is in dire need of water. The government is still downplaying this entire crisis. Today, we focus on the Nanmangalam lake, where the water body is slowly dying. It has been encroached upon, and an illegal borewell has sprung up near this lake. In fact, Mirror Now's Pramod Madhav found that illegal wells were being constructed on the farmlands located right next to the Nanmangalam lake in Chennai. The water from these borewells is being reportedly sold at exorbitant prices. And as the state government turns a blind eye, the Madras High Court has sought a district-wise report from the collectors on the groundwater situation in the state. Let me go across to my colleague Pramod Madhav joining me live, getting us further updates on the current situation at this point. Good morning, Pramod. This is yet another instance that we are highlighting of how the government of Tamil Nadu is turning a blind eye. There is rampant corruption, the water is sold at exorbitant prices, and there is illegal borewell that is being dug up in this particular lake. Can you take us through the details?
It surely is, and there are various details to this story. In fact, the thing is that these wells, bore wells, and these huge wells, 100 feet deep minimum, are constructed just meters away from the perimeter of Nanmangalam Lake. The thing is that when we questioned, we saw a minimum of 3 lakes over there, or 3 wells over there, of which one had a pipe that was directly put across into the well. I mean the Nanmangalam Lake itself. We started asking questions, and the first thing we found out was that those farmlands were leased, and these people who have taken on the lease, they have constructed these wells, and they are removing water from the well, and they are selling it. The thing is that when we put forward these questions to the activists very clearly state that as per State Water Protection Act, no private entity has the right to sell water for commercial purposes. But that's been happening over there for years, and there is no check. On one hand, you have Nanmangalam Lake, which has not been desilted. You have building constructions inside the perimeter of the lake, and that also has not been checked out. And on the other hand, these wells are constructed very close to the lake, and from there, water is being removed and it's being sold. What they're trying to do is that from these wells to the road, to the main road, they have actually placed pipes through the farmland, and that water is being sold. And when we question how are they doing it, the actual owners, the lease owners, they are claiming that the government cannot stop them, because if they do, immediately they will go ahead and strike, and the issue will turn extremely volatile, and that's why nobody is bothered.
But Pramod, then that indicates a rather systemic failure on the part of the state government if they are unable to put stringent checks and balances to ensure that borewells are not illegally dug up and that there is no problem to it. This is clear. This is a clear systemic failure on part of the government then.
Well, it definitely is. Imagine you have bore wells, and you have wells, proper wells constructed in farmland, and that water is supposed to be used for farming alone. That land has been leased to someone else, and that person is removing water and he's selling for commercial purposes. And like I mentioned, they are using various pipes, a minimum of 3 pipes from such wells, and that's been placed through the farmland to the main road. So the distance itself is almost 500 meters, and from there it's being that they have these, if you travel through that road through Nanmangalam Lake, you can see these pipes near the actual main road. Authorities do not have to go to any other location. It is not like a gated compound or anything like that. All you have to do is drive through Nanmangalam Road, and you can see those pipe stations, private pipe stations on the main road. Water is being removed from the well, and it's being sold. In fact, when we went there, the first question was that how much water do you want? Where do you want it? That's the kind of necessity they are in, because they believe that people are ready to buy water for any price. They didn't even want to investigate where we are coming from. They were ready to sell the water. This is where the government is supposed to intervene and make sure that water is not being sold in this way to private entities, because that is also a very, very important commodity which Chennai is suffering without right now. But apparently we do not see any kind of authorities over there, and this situation has been occurring there for more than a minimum of 2-3 years, and nobody's bothered.
That is actually very alarming, and that's very concerning, Pramod, the details that you're putting out right now. And you also said that the authorities don't have to go too far to see what is the real problem. But have the residents living around the Nanmangalam Lake, have they tried to approach the authorities, or have their complaints also gone unheard?
Well, it's very unfortunate that the residents are not trying to raise any complaints because, first of all, this is a farmland and it's being leased to another person. And these people actually wield power. They have political background and they are wielding power in that circumstance, that area. So nobody wants to come out and speak against them. The second issue is that since it's a farmland, nobody from the resident area is bothered. All they want is water. Since the government is failing in that sector, also providing drinking water, people are going to various other sources just to get water because they claim without water, nothing's happening over there. And the third and very important issue is that government seems to be like, government is not at all bothered about what is happening. On the main road, such things are occurring. This is not a gated community, open farmland. A minimum of 20 to 30 feet, we saw 3 wells next to Nanmangalam Lake itself. How did the government miss this? We're not sure.
All right, we'll have to leave it there, Pramod. Many thanks for joining us with those updates. Of course, we have to really wait and watch whether the government takes note of this, because this is, of course, very, very serious, and we have to see if the government looks at the kind of problems that the citizens are facing at this point.